on now to the hospitality industry. Now, once again, they are singing the blues with the return of harsher restrictions under level 4 of the lockdown. Restaurants will only be permitted to sell food for takeaways as well as deliveries only until the 11th of July. This certainly is a very big blow for the sector with many jobs on the line. I'm joined now by Mr. Gary Reilly. He's the General Manager of Brass Bell Restaurant. Mr. Reilly, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Thami. Thanks for having me.
Not a very easy time for the hospitality industry. I would assume that yesterday's announcement was a bit of a blow for you and your industry as you try to still recover from the previous lockdowns.
Yeah, the announcement last night was not what we expected at all. Tighter alcohol restrictions, maybe even alcohol ban, with the usual spacing between tables and guests, normal COVID protocols in place. But the moment he announced that there was takeaway and delivery only, I'm probably the largest restaurant in South Africa right now. I mean, I've got about 800 seats in total, and we're not really a takeaway and delivery business. So I've spent the whole of last night and this morning redeveloping a model to be able to pay. I've got 82 staff that need to be paid and put food on the tables for their children. And, takeaways and deliveries is something that we don't really do, but we have to stay agile in the market that we've got at the moment. But it was a massive blow.
Well, how then, Mr. Reilly, could government have reconfigured this lockdown level for, I guess, businesses such as yours? You say you're about an 800, seater. That's really, really huge. But how could they have balanced the two, keeping industry alive while also preserving the lives of not only consumers but also the staff?
Look, like any business right now, I mean, you're running normal COVID protocols anyway, hand sanitizing, checking temperatures. You've got the gates throughout your establishment to make sure that people are spaced, to make sure that people are looked after, that they wear their masks when they leave their tables, that the restaurants are well ventilated. You can't really do much more than that. So from that perspective, I do understand that tighter restrictions need to be put in place. But, when you've got staff that, and a business that still needs to run, my 800 seats are broken up into probably about 7 or 8 different venues now, because filling up one restaurant with 800 people is virtually impossible. But breaking it up into smaller little restaurants, we've added a theatre in where we are, just trying to, basically the keyword in South Africa these days is hustle, to be able to break that up. We've basically been keeping ourselves barely afloat through what we've done. The 28th of December to 2nd of February alcohol ban was obviously massive. The margins in restaurants are all made on alcohol, unfortunately. Food margins are negligible. So from my perspective, I mean, the government could have put, tighter restrictions on the numbers coming in. Even an alcohol ban, I mean, even through January, we were running non-alcoholic wines and beers and people were still buying that. But, to do a complete shutdown of restaurants for takeaway and delivery only. I'm from a small little village in Cape Town called Cook Bay. And this morning there was just restaurants gating up, boarding up, putting all their cushions away, putting all their umbrellas away, and basically closing for the 2 weeks. What that means for staff and pay, it's devastating.
It certainly is devastating all round, Mr. Gary Reilly. Thank you for your time today. That is the impact of the lockdown level 4 on the restaurant industry. That's Gary Reilly, he's General Manager at Brass Bell Restaurant.